I hosted a fabulous Easter lunch for 12 people. Everything was served hot and on time, and I'm going to show you how I did it. Hi, I'm Shelley. Welcome to my table. Easter lunch is always a big one at our house, and this year we hosted 12 adults, 2 toddlers, and 2 babies. The only way for me to keep on top of everything is with planning. And I'm telling you, your gal loves a list. A couple of days before the event, I get my book out and I start writing everything down. I start thinking about what I want to cook and how I'm going to do it, if there's any prepare ahead things that I can do. So I write it all down in this book and it's my go-to. This year we had roast pork with applesauce, 2 beautiful slow cook lamb shoulders with its own gravy. We had a potato bake, baked pumpkin, fresh corn on the cob, delicious glazed carrots, some frozen peas. No judgment there. The real trick to get this served without too much stress is timing. So I'm lucky enough that I've got 2 ovens. The top one's only got 1 shelf and the bottom one's got 2. So there's a bit of juggling with all that food that needs to be cooked in the oven. So first up, I do my roast meats because they need to be rested and they'll stay hot for a long time if you cover them in foil and then tea towels over the top. So they were on nice and early in the morning, and then I rotated my potato bake, my pumpkin in and out of the various ovens when the meats came out, and lastly the glazed carrots were done just before serving. So all this is written down in my book so I know exactly what's going in the oven at what temperature, when it's coming out. So I sort of have it every half-hour increments so I know. So there's no stress on the day that I'm burning the pork or I'm burning the lamb. So that's a super helpful tip for me. Another thing I like to do before the morning of the event is to get all my serving dishes out so I know I've got everything. And it sounds a little bit over the top, but trust me, it works. I put a little sticky note on each one. This one was for the roast pork, this one was for the baked pumpkin. So if someone's in the kitchen helping you, you're able to keep your aesthetic nice because you know the carrot cake's going on this one, not the butterfly cakes, and you know where everything's going, and then no one's putting a saucepan, God forbid, out on the table. My notebook comes back out when I'm going through all my recipes, whether they're from my recipe books or on websites, is I make a complete shopping list. Like, I mean everything, down to the brown sugar or the garlic, because the worst thing that can happen is when you're in the midst of prepping and planning and cooking that you haven't got a key ingredient and you've got to duck down to the shops. No, I have a complete list so I know I've got everything in the pantry that I need. Once I've got my menu locked down, the next thing I do is work out the timeline. What can I do ahead? So for this lunch, I was able to make the carrot cake, the chocolate mousse, and the rice pudding ahead. So I made the rice pudding actually in the slow cooker this time for the first time, put it in the fridge overnight, and then served it in the Darling Bunny glasses on the morning of the event. But it was really easy because I'd done it all before. Of course, we did ice the cake on the morning of the event, which was super easy, and my husband actually did that for me. So because I've got a plan and everything sort of timelined out, even, you know, when I'm going to clean the loo and things like that, the day goes really smoothly because I've done as much ahead of time as I can. So then I can get all my bunnies in a row and get down to the really fun part, which is decorating my table. So here I also did some prep work overnight. So I was able to iron my beautiful tablecloths and keep them on another table and make sure all the linen serviettes were ironed and tied with the ribbons, and then I put the little Easter eggs in them on the morning. So it was a lot of fun to create this table. So when my guests arrived, it was a beautiful feeling for them to think, oh, this is something special. That's before they even saw the food. Future me is always really pleased with past me for doing this planning ahead. And that's really the whole goal. Everything served beautifully, on time, aesthetic, no stress from me yelling and screaming. Well, not too much anyway. And that's what it's all about, hosting at home, stress-free. So those are my top tips for serving a stress-free lunch for 12. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll stick around for more videos.